Now, as soon as this thing says we're live, and we're now live on all the platforms: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and we're ready to start rocking and rolling. Let me get some light going on here so you guys can see my pretty face. I don't want you to not be able to see my pretty face. There we go. There we go. All right. Sales training, contractor sales. This is something that I, s- I see a lot of contractors, and by a lot, I mean 99.9% get wrong in construction. A lot of contractors believe that sales in construction is all based on the 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 quality that you provide. So when you go out and talk to a prospect and they're like, "Hey, we want to get a bathroom remodel done," and you go out there, you think it's your job to puke all over them and tell them how great you are and how high quality your products are. And look at my pictures of all this work that we've done. It's so beautiful and high quality. And if you hire us, you're going to get the highest quality work possible in quality, quality, quality. And I've been doing this for 30 years and all of this stuff. Look at me. Look how great I am. You should hire me because I'm the best tradesman on earth. That's exactly right. That is what contractors believe sells jobs. And I'm here to tell you, if this is your first time hearing me, sales is not about you, the contractor. Sales is about the prospect. It is 100% about the prospect. What's in it for them? How are you going to make their life better? What can you do to guarantee the certainty of achievement that if they hire you, they're going to get what they want in their project? Okay. If they're hiring you for a kitchen, a bathroom, a new roof, a deck, a landscaping project, painting their house, new, electrical panel, whatever it is, your job in sales is to show them what they benefit from hiring you. Now, I don't mean like hire me and I'm going to give you the best work. Not that type of benefit. It's the benefit of what they get. So if you're an electrician and their house is going to burn down because their panel is not up to code or arced or is, dangerous, they want safety, right? They want to know their house is not going to burn down. And so whenever you give them the confidence that you're going to protect them in their house, and by doing this work, they can now be relieved, and they can trust that you're going to deliver the product the way that they want, that's going to make them feel safe. Now they're more likely to hire you, right? So sales is not about you. The truth of the matter is your customers don't give a shit about you. I mean, seriously, they really don't care about you. Now, they may be nice. They may want you to have success. They may like you personally. They may not want ill will towards you, but they truly don't care about you as a person and what you're doing in your business. They want their problem solved. So, whenever you're talking to them, it's about them. What's the motivation for them as to why what you're going to offer them is going to solve their problem? So, when you approach sales, the first thing that we do, and this is what I teach the contractors in the Profit Club, the very first thing that we do is find out what's the motivation. Why do they want to have this project done? It's not what color tile do they want. It's not how big of a kitchen island do they want. It's none of the scope of work. None of it. We spend about 90% of the conversation is not about scope. Maybe 10% of the conversation is about scope. And that's just to get a general idea of what they want. Okay. And that's not to find out how many square foot of tile we're going to do, or how many square yards of roofing we're going to put on, and what color they want, or do they want metal rails, or do they want composite railing? Like, we're not asking those things. Okay. We're not asking those things on the sales call, because that's not what's important yet. Eventually, we're going to ask those questions. But right now, we're trying to connect with them on an emotional level. We're not trying to sell them on, why composite is better than treated. Okay. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to find out what's important to the customer right now. What's the motivation? Because I promise you, people don't want a new kitchen because they just want a nice looking kitchen. They want a new kitchen because they're embarrassed of the existing kitchen. They like to have parties and their mother-in-law comes over, and every time the mother-in-law comes over, she comments about how ugly their kitchen is. That may seem like a silly reason for someone to get a new kitchen, but I promise you, sometimes it can be that petty of a reason as to why someone wants to do something. So if you find out through the questions that someone wants a new kitchen because they're sick and tired of their mother-in-law complaining about their kitchen, now you have something. Now I have something to go into and find out. Okay, so Cindy, I know you mentioned that your mother-in-law, every time she comes over, she really, like, just complains about your kitchen. And that's it seems like it's really affecting you. I mean, how does that affect your marriage at all too? And I'm digging into the motive because I want to find out. And she says, "Yeah, I love my mother-in-law a lot, and we get along, but she just every time she comes over, I talks about my kitchen. I just feel like a loser, and I just feel like I'm not good enough for her son." And then that my husband and I get into a conversation and an argument about it, and really it's a sore spot for us. Gotcha. I don't know what that's like, but I can only imagine that that must be very stressful for you, and then you go on and go on, and later on in the conversation, you can bring it up like, so if we're able to create this beautiful kitchen that you're wanting, what do you think your mother-in-law is going to say when she walks in after seeing this beautiful kitchen? How is that going to change your relationship with your husband? It's the emotions. I'm digging into the emotions. That's what people want. And when you can paint a picture through words of how their life is going to change by hiring you to provide this service, you now have the job. The price no longer matters. The next contractor is coming in and saying, "Yeah, we can do you a new kitchen. We measure it out here. Yeah, you're looking at it's going to be $40,000. I'll get you a new kitchen. Just sign here and we'll get you on your way." Meanwhile, you connected with the emotion, and your project $60,000. You're $20,000 more than the other contractor. Whenever you connect with them on their emotion, I guarantee you will sell that job before the $40,000 contractor, because it's not about money. The only time money comes into the equation is when all of the options suck and they think that they're going to get the exact same service and output. Then why would you pay more for someone that's going to do the exact same thing as someone else? So let me look at some questions. There was a bunch flying in here, and I want to go back. Travis wants to role play live. We can do that. Your I don't know how to say your name. Yuri. What kind of advertising do you recommend? I had a pretty good start, but seems to be slowing down. What kind of advertising is social media and Google pay-per-click? Reviews, Google reviews, anything with Google, you have to have your Google on point. Should be posting almost every day to your Google profile. The Google Maps profile. They're changing it. That's not Google My Business anymore. They're changing it. It's all part of Maps. It's still the same thing, but reviews, having a bunch of reviews, your social media posts, all of your all your vehicles should be wrapped, lettered at least, professional. It's not like people think it's advertising, like you put an ad in the paper and then the phone rings. That type of advertising is not around that much anymore, except for Google pay-per-clicks or Facebook ads. But Facebook ad costs are going up. They're still effective, but you can waste a bunch of money if you don't know what you're doing. Butter says Google ads only, leads are slowing due to the economy. Yeah, Google ads is all. The only ads that I put money behind in my business was Google ads. That's it. I didn't do anything else. Everyone uses Google Bigger Net. Yeah, I've had Google ads. You guys ever try Nextdoor? That URI Yuri. Nextdoor is for cheap people. If you're starting out and you want to be down here, then hang out in Nextdoor. I'm not saying you can't have good jobs from Nextdoor. That can happen, but the majority of leads you get from Nextdoor are going to be down here, and you're looking up here. Okay. Google Ads works. If it doesn't work for you, it's not because Google Ads don't work. It's because your ads sucked. That's the harsh reality. Anyone recommend someone to write up contracts just starting? Contact an attorney. Zuni, contact an attorney in your state who specializes in construction contracts, not the family practice attorney who does divorces and adoptions and contracts. No, get a specialist who specializes in business contracts. If you can find one that does construction contracts, even better. Don't get a generalist, get a specialist. Will it cost you money? Yes. Will it save you tons of money in the long run? Yes. Don't go online and download some generic contract and use that. Hire a professional business contract writing attorney. A magnet for your truck. I mean, if you want to project to the world, I'm small time and I really don't do very good work, then get a magnet, because that's exactly what you're projecting to the world. I don't trust myself in my business to provide enough quality to go out and invest in myself and my business by getting professionally detailed, letters on my truck. I'm not saying you got to do a full wrap, but the difference between a magnet, which is like $50, and having vinyl stickers on the side of your truck, which is like $200. You can get vinyl stickers on your truck for $200. I personally do wraps. I would never do anything other than a wrap, and they're $3, $4, $5, $6,000 for a wrap, and they will pay for themselves in probably 1 month. It's just, I mean, I understand if you don't have the money, do what you can, but the second that you can upgrade from a magnet to decals on your truck, do it. Like the second. Don't even wait on that. Okay. Yeah, permanent sticker. That's what I'm talking about, Travis. Travis, if you want to do a role play, we can. If you want to jump on here live, are you going to be the contractor, Travis? You gonna are you gonna be the contractor? If you want to be the contractor, Travis, I'll put you on the spot. The reason why I'm doing that is Travis is one of my clients. So if he doesn't do a good job, then that means I didn't do a good job of training him on that. So you want to be the customer? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, Travis. You be the contractor. You can do it, man. Come on. I got confidence in you. You can do the front doors, Yuri. That's fine. Even just that's going to be better than a magnet. I promise you. Magnets speak temporary. Think about that. When someone has a magnet on their door, they don't have enough confidence that they're going to be around long enough, so they need to be able to take the magnet off. Travis, man, don't be chickening out. Come on, dude. You can do it. Travis. You can do it, man. You can do it, Travis. I have confidence in you. Come on. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going on the sales training. Yuri, that's good. If you do shed making, you can make good money on that. Just because you're a framer doesn't mean you can't be professional. I think you can make money on it if you do it right. But it's usually more about quantity than it is quality. It just depends. It depends on what your market is. If you're in the custom shed making company, I would pick a niche like backyard offices or she sheds or something that people like. I can go down the road in my city and pass 3 different shed companies that sell sheds on the side of the road. If you're going to build sheds, be unique and do something different that no one else is doing. Have an office, build an office and a backyard office or a she shed or a man cave or something like that, and be different, be unique. Yeah, cool. Keep going. Oh, Travis, man, I'm disappointed. Travis is too scared to jump on here. So listen, sales. Let's jump into the sales then. What I was talking about with being, connecting with the motive. This is where the contractors steer off, right? What's the typical sales process for most contractors? The phone rings or they get an email through their website and they go, "Hey, I'm looking for a someone to come out and give me an estimate on my project. And the contractor, now they may be a little bit more savvy today, and they may say, okay, well, we're booked up for 6 months right now. Is that going to be a problem? And they may say, no, that's not a problem. We just, we want to get a price so we can start planning ahead. And like, okay, well, I'll come out there next week and give you an estimate. Okay, great. And then you go out there and you meet with them, and you look at their project, and you take your tape measure, and you get all this stuff, and you ask them a few questions, and then you go back home to your office or whatever, and you type up an estimate and you email it over, and you may or may not hear from them. You may sell the job, you may not, who knows. That's the typical sales process for most contractors. Some little more savvy may ask on the phone, yeah, we're 6 months out, is that a problem? They say, no, that's not a problem. Okay, well, what's your budget? Like, how much money you wanting to spend? Well, we don't really know. I mean, we don't really know what our budget is. We were kind of wanting to figure out what it's going to be to make sure that, we can afford it. Oh, well, if you don't have a budget, then I can't really help you. You got to have a budget. Oh, okay. Well, can you come out and look at it? Well, no, we got to have a budget to start with. Like, that's their pre-qualification process. And they think they're doing a good job because the person's like, well, we don't really have a budget. We don't know how much. Okay, well, we can't help you then. Bye. Oh, look, I just saved a bunch of time. I didn't waste my time on this client because they wouldn't give me their budget. Whew, I'm good at sales. No, you're not. That may have been a perfectly good client. Just because someone doesn't want to tell you their budget over the phone, whether they're lying to you or not about having a budget or not having a budget, does not mean that they're a bad client. Does not mean they're a bad prospect. Okay. This is why we teach to give your number to get theirs. Because here's what happens. People believe that contractors will take advantage of them. That's just the belief across the industry. So if I tell you, the contractor, well, my budget's $25,000, and in reality, the contractor could do that job for $20,000, right? And I tell them it's 25, then the contractor is going to say, oh, well, guess what? You're in luck. I can do that project for $25,000. And then the contractor is going to make an extra 5,000 simply because you told them what the budget is. That's what people believe. Whether you think that's true or not, that is the fact. That's why people don't want to give budgets. They're afraid that you're going to take advantage of them that way. Okay. So the way you circumvent that completely is you give them a ballpark first, and then ask them if that's in their budget or price range. So for example, after I've found the motive, after I've gotten a little bit of scope, and I've went back and recapped to make sure I got everything right, I may say something like, that project, if we come in there and we just like blow your socks off, and we do like a magazine, HGTV magazine cover, bathroom that you're going to want to show off to all your friends, it would not be unreasonable for that to be $50,000. And then you can shut your mouth. There's multiple ways of doing this, but you shut your mouth, or you do a ballpark range. But if you say $50,000 and then you shut your mouth and listen for the client, there's going to be any number of reactions. They may say, holy crap, that's way more than what we were thinking. Way, way more. Okay, well, that's high end. If we come in and we are very conservative with our selections and we don't do all the high end stuff, we can still get you a really, really nice bathroom, but you're going to be looking in the $30,000 range. And then you're going to shut your mouth again, and you're going to get another reaction out of them. Well, 30,000 is a lot better than 50, but honestly, that's still more than what we were what we were wanting to spend. Okay, I totally understand that. How much were you hoping to spend? And you shut your mouth again. Well, really, we didn't want to spend more than $20,000. That was kind of like the top end of where we wanted to be at. So by doing that, by me giving a price range first, no longer do they think that I'm going to jack the price up on them, because I've given them, in a sense, it's like I'm revealing all of my cards to them first. But in reality, I'm not giving them all of the information. Okay. So this is how you use, this is the proper way to do sales. It's not about what's your ballpark. I mean, what's your budget? Well, when do you want to get it done? Those are interrogation style questions. You think you're doing a good job by pre-qualifying your customer, but you're not. You're just interrogating them because you don't want to waste your time, and you just come across the phone as a dickhead. And they're like, man, this guy, like, he doesn't even care about us. All he's asking is all these questions. I'm just trying to get an estimate so I can get an idea if we can afford it or not. And this guy's being a complete dickhead on the phone. You get off the phone thinking, oh, I saved my time. I saved my time. These people are tire kickers and they're going to waste my time. No, you just sucked at sales and ruined a perfectly good sale, potentially. So this is why whenever you do sales, you give your number first and then get their number. You see if it aligns with their budget. Because if I said $30,000 and they're like, wow, that's still more than what we were thinking. Okay, how much were you thinking? How much were you hoping to spend on this project? And I still don't even ask, okay, well, what's your budget then? It's how much were you hoping to spend? How much were you thinking? Those are very specific words. I don't use the word budget ever. And then now they feel compelled, they feel open to share with you what that number is. That doesn't mean that they won't leave a little bit of, cushion in there for them. If they say 20,000, maybe they're thinking they could really afford 22 or 23, but you're going to get a much more realistic number from them because they feel like you've laid all the cards out. Okay. So if they say $20,000 is really all we were wanting to spend and I'm at 30, now I can say, well, wow, that's quite a bit lower than where we're at. I don't foresee being able to get much lower than 30,000 based on what we talked about. I mean, there are some options. If you want to remove some of the items that we talked about, we can lower the scope of work and therefore, lower the price to get you closer to that $20,000. I mean, is that something you're willing to consider? And they may say, well, I mean, yeah, we like you, we like your reputation. It is more than what we wanted to spend. So what can we remove? And now you can have a conversation of what they can remove. And I would follow up with something like, well, what's the top 3 things you need to have in this bathroom? Like, what's the 3 things that you can't go without? And they may say, well, it's this, and this. Okay. So if we can remove, if we don't do I'm just making stuff up. If we don't do heated floors, because you didn't mention heated floors, as one of the 3 things that you absolutely had to have. If we take the heated floors out, that right there will save you a couple grand. And so now you can kind of work down and get to their budget. Now it's no longer, this is what I charge and this is what you're going to pay. It's let's work together to figure out how we can make this happen for you. But I'm not lowering my price ever. I'm never lowering my price. We can reduce the scope to meet your budget, right? This is a consultation approach, a consultative approach where I'm not trying to sell people anything ever. If I'm on a call, even when I talk to contractors about joining the Profit Club, I don't sell them anything. I'm just trying to find out where their problem in their business is and where they're struggling. And if I can help them with my program, then I'll share with them that, yeah, you know what, I believe I can help you with your business. This is what the investment is. Does it make sense for you to move forward? Like, that's it. I don't, it's not high pressure. It's no sales gimmick stuff where we overprice it by 25,000 and then say, well, if I can come down to 20,000, if I can knock $5,000 off, do we have a deal? Shake my hand if we have a deal. Knowing that you were at 20 to begin with, you just overpriced it at 25. Those are all sales gimmicks. Those are sales tactics. We don't do any of that crap. This is what we charge. This is what's your budget? Do they align? Yes or no? Yes. Let's move forward. No, let's figure out how we can make it work. Sometimes you're at 30, they're at 20, there's no budging, and that's the end of it. Man, I really wish that we could help you out with this project, but I mean, we're at 30 and you're at 20 and there's really no room to wiggle. I'm not sure we're going to be able to help you with this project. What do you think we should do next? And I throw it in their court and let them decide. And they may say, well, we're going to go get some other estimates. Totally. I understand. Just out of curiosity, what's going to happen if you're not able to find anybody that can do it for that price? again, it's more questions about motive and what's going to happen. I'm not saying, well, you're not going to find anybody in this market for cheaper than that. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, like, I mean, what's going to happen if you're not able to find anybody any cheaper? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait, or maybe save up some money or something, or not do the project at all. Not do the project at all. Well, yeah. I mean, if 20 is like the most we can possibly do, okay. So if you're not able to find anyone that can do it for that price, then you're saying that you're not going to do the bathroom at all. Well, I mean, you told me that the bathtub doesn't even work right now. How much longer are you going to go without a working bathtub before you decide to hire someone? And so you can put these thoughts in their head of like, well, what happened? What if I can't find somebody else? What if I have to wait another 2 months that I've already waited 6 months? Like what if? And you can do this through calibrated questions, through tools of the trades that we teach, like labeling and mirroring, asking for permission. All of these things these are tactics that were used in the sales process to find out what's important to the client, and then frame us as the person who's going to deliver that value, that certainty of achievement to them. That's how you get good at sales. And it's not because I just got to get in front of them and then people like my charm. No, that's not good sales. Sorry, it's not good sales. Being charming is not good sales. I was the same person. I have high integrity and people trust me when I talk to them. So I get in front of them and people would hire me and I would close like 80% of the deals. It wasn't until years later that the reason why I was so charming and so good at sales was simply because I was too freaking cheap. When you're cheap, you can sell everything. But once you start charging what you need to charge, and you're now the most expensive person in your town, which is where you want to be, now you have to be good at sales, because no longer is being charming or having people trust you going to by itself get you the job. Okay. Let me look at the questions again. I may land a contract with an apartment to rebuild and fix their carports. Anything you can suggest so I don't mess up to get tagged by inspector? I mean, be legit, Yuri. Like, don't try to do crap under the table. If you need to have inspections, get the inspections. If you're not licensed, don't do it. Like, don't try to do stuff that's not legal, then you won't get in trouble. We're sitting next to them to find solutions together, not across to be adversaries. Yeah, Travis is talking about that. So whenever we go to a sales call, we've all seen the police movies, right? Where there's, the bad guy or whoever they've detained is sitting in the chair. Maybe he's handcuffed. He's sitting back, and the detective walks in the room, and he's got his folder here. Let me do a little illustration. He's got his folder here, thick of files, tons of files, and he sits down and throws it on the table, or maybe he holds it up and he says, "Steve, we got everything we need right here in this file about you. So why don't you make this easy on us and just tell us everything we want to know? What's your budget? How soon do you need to get this done? Why are you doing this now?" Like, that's what some of you do in interrogations. You're literally interrogating your prospects by asking these questions, and you think you're doing good by pre-qualifying them. That's not what we want to do. We don't want to interrogate our prospects. We want to walk into that room like we're the attorney defending them, and we're going to go and we're going to sit on the same side of the table as them. When the detective walks in, we're sitting next to them, and we're going to be like, "No, don't answer that question. Don't say that. You don't have to answer that question. This is what you need to do." We want to be their ally. We want to put our arm around them and say, "Hey, man, I got you. Like, we're going to get through this one way or the other. I know our budgets don't align. I know we're $10,000 more than you, but let's figure out a way to make this happen, because I know it's super important to you to get this bathroom done so that you now have a place for you. I mean, you have 5 kids and all 5 of you and your spouse are using one bathroom because you've been sitting 6 months without this bathroom because your bathtub doesn't work. Let's get this thing figured out so that you can get your bathroom back and get your privacy back with you and your husband, because I know it's got to be hurting your intimacy as well, having kids in there all the time. Like, this is let's figure out a way to make this happen. Now, sometimes you're not the one that's going to make it happen, and that's okay. I'm still going to help them. I'm going to say, I really wish I could help you, Chris, on this job, but we're just too far apart on the price. Maybe I can recommend you to some other contractors that might be able to do it a little bit cheaper. Would that be helpful? Yeah, that'd be great if you could do that. Okay, and I'm going to refer good people, not the crappy one so they can get screwed by them. So I can say, see, I told you should have paid me more. We're not doing that. We're simply trying to help people. And when people trust you like that, your value that you provide goes way up, way up. I ask people on the phone in the first 5 minutes, tell me where you're at in this process. Are you just getting started? Have you done any research? Have you talked to other contractors yet? I'm just trying to get an idea of where you're at so I can know how to best help you. I bring up the other contractor on purpose. That's a calibrated question because I'm now throwing it on the table. I'm setting it on the table. And once you bring up a topic and put it on the table, it's no longer taboo to talk about. Money is one of them. Other contractors are another. Those are taboo topics that people don't want to talk about because they may think it hurts your feelings, or they may make them nervous or uneasy about talking about it. But if I bring it up and it doesn't bother me and I don't act like it bothers me, it now gives them permission to talk about it. They go, well, yeah, we have talked to 2 other contractors. You're the third one. Oh, yeah, totally understand. What I'm just curious, what are you hoping to hear from me that you haven't heard from the other 2 you've talked to? Well, we're just collecting, getting some prices right now so we can kind of decide, which one we're going to pick. Oh, okay. So is price the number one factor for, your decision on who you hire? Well, no, it's not the only factor, but it is important. I mean, we only have a limited amount of funds available, so we want to get the most bang for our buck. The most bang for your buck? Yeah, I mean, we want someone that's going to do a good job, but we don't want to, overpay a bunch of money for that. Oh, okay, okay. And so you can go down this line of questioning just by simply asking, "Have you talked to other contractors?" Now I know I've gotten recon on them. I've gotten information about them that people would never readily give you if you don't bring it up. I've heard of contractors that go out and give an estimate for free. They waste 5 hours of their time to do a free estimate, and then the customer calls them and says, "John, thanks for coming out. We decided to go with someone else." And they get pissed off and start cussing out the customer. Well, why in the hell did you waste my time then if you weren't going to hire me? Well, that's your damn fault. That's your fault as the contractor. It's not the customer's fault that they want to get 3 bids or 10 bids or waste your time. That's not their fault. That's your fault as the contractor. So don't get pissed off at your customers, your leads, because they wanted you to come out and give them a free estimate. This is your job as a contractor. Your job as the contractor is to educate your clients and especially educate them on how you do business. Whenever someone calls us and they would say, "Hey, we want to get an estimate on a kitchen remodel. Can someone come out and give us an estimate?" Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to come out and do that. Can I share with you our process? It's a little bit different, but a lot of our customers really seem to enjoy it. Again, a calibrated question and statement. Oh, yeah. Well, what's that? Well, we like to start with pictures first. We'll just have you send in a few pictures of your kitchen and maybe some inspiration photos, and then we'll actually jump on another call. And I'll find out first if we can help you with your project, because we may not be able to help you. And then secondly, I'll even be able to share with you on that call what other clients have paid for similar projects. Would that be helpful? 9 out of 10 times they say, "Yeah, that'd be great. I can send some pictures over right now, or I can take some when I get home from work and send them over to you." I've now framed that. That may seem like it's not a big deal. It's a huge deal the way I framed that. I framed it as, this is our process and it's a little bit different than everyone else. That right there is a value added statement, because it's saying that we're different. We're not like all the other contractors. We're different because we know our value, and we know, and we're going to provide you with a different level of service. It's very subtle, but it provides value. The second part of that is, a lot of our clients really seem to enjoy the process that we do. A lot of our clients really seem to enjoy it. Now, if they don't enjoy it, in their mind, that may think there's something wrong with them. If everyone else enjoys it, then why wouldn't I enjoy it? Because we go with the masses, right? We do what the masses do. So if everyone else enjoys it, then I should enjoy it, because I'm like everyone else. I'm not different. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to think that I'm going to be the oddball that's like, no, I don't want to do that process. That phrase is gold, guys. If you haven't wrote that down, you need to be writing that down right now. Can I share with you our process? It's a little bit different than most contractors, but a lot of our clients really seem to enjoy it. And then you tell them, right? What do people want when they're calling a contractor? They want a price. That's it. They want a price, and then they want to find out if they like you or not, if they can trust you. I'm not saying that trust isn't important. It is, but people want to know the price. They may like you all up and down, but if you're $100,000 and they only want to spend 50, they're not going to hire you probably. So they, at the end of the day, they still want to know price, but they also want to know if they can trust you. They want to know, it's called a certainty of achievement. They want to know if you're the person that's going to give them the highest probability of achieving the results that they want, right? They've all heard the horror stories. I paid the contractor 50% down. I gave him $20,000 and he never showed up, and never heard from him again. He skipped town. The contractor came out great. He started 2 weeks into the project. He left and never came back. I can't get a hold of him. The contractor came out, worked on our house, and left a mess everywhere. I came home from work and there was dust all over my living room. They didn't put any protection or anything up. They ruined my floors that were installed 6 months ago. I can't get a hold of them to come back and fix it. Those are the horror stories that they hear all the time. And some of them have experienced that. So it's your job to sell them. And I use that word because we're really not selling them, but because that's a universal term that people understand. It's your job to sell them on why you're the one. What's special about you. But we don't do it through what we say, in a sense of like, we're not convincing them. We're giving them information, and we're doing it in a way that allows us to stand out from everyone else. On the dust, Travis, I wasn't talking about you, man. If you're not covering your stuff, that's on you. That's you. I wasn't talking about you though. So this is how you set yourself different. If they call the first two contractors, and the first two contractors say, yeah, we can come out there. I'll come out there next week and give you an estimate. The first contractor doesn't show up, or he's 10 minutes late. Let's say he's 10 minutes late, and he doesn't call him or tell him he's running late. He's there. He gets his tape measure out and measures everything, and the customer's like, we really want to do our new kitchen. We want to put an island in the middle instead of having a peninsula. And the contractor's like, yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do an island because that's not going to be very good. I've been doing this for 25 years. You're just going to have to trust me. You don't want an island. You want to stay with the peninsula. That's going to give you the most cabinets. That contractor does not give a shit about their clients and what they want. Now, he may be true. He may be right. He may be correct in what he's saying. Like, that may be a factual statement, but you don't ever tell your customers they're wrong. You don't ever tell them that what they want to do is wrong, right? So I'll get to that here in a second, Yuri. So the second contractor shows up, and he's a nice guy. They really like him. And he says, I'll get you an estimate in a couple days, and 2 weeks go by and he hasn't got back with them yet. Maybe he gives them an estimate in a couple days or a couple weeks or whatever. And then they call you. and you're like, hey, we're a little bit different. We do things a little bit different than most contractors. We have a process. This is our process. You're going to send us pictures. We're going to jump on a phone call. We're going to find out about your project. I'm going to share with you what that cost is, and then we can go from there. How does that sound? Instantly, you are 10 levels above the other two contractors because you're different. You're doing things differently than the other two. That's what they're used to. Maybe they've hired 5 other contractors for past projects over the last 20 years, and you're the first one who says, we do things a little bit different, and we have a process here, and this is what we do. And you don't even have to wait 2 weeks to get an estimate. I can give you a ballpark right over the phone. And then again, instantly your credibility shoots up, and they already like you because you're saving them time. So this is what sales is about. This is how you provide value through the sales process. And then I jump on the call, I go through the 8 questions that we ask. And if you don't know what those 8 are, you can go listen to my podcast. The 8 powerful questions we ask every client. It's one of my podcasts. I give all the 8 questions away, but it's questions like, how are you hoping we can help you? As simple as that sounds, it's how are you hoping we can help you? When are you wanting to get this project done? Or, what's my mind just went blank. What's causing you to get this done now? Or, why are you hoping to get it done now? Or when are you hoping to get it done? Stuff like that. Have you talked to other contractors? That's part of it. Those are just some of the questions that we ask. Who else is excited about this project? We want to know who the decision makers are, because we want to know if I'm talking to the wife and the husband has to be the one that writes the check, I'm wasting my time per se talking to the wife if I have to go convince the husband afterwards. Those are things that we also find out initially. Like, we want all the decision makers on the initial call so that we can address any concerns. One of the main objections that you will hear on the phone is, I need to talk to my spouse. This all sounds great, Brad. I love what you're saying. I'll just tell you, like, I want you to do the work, but I need to run it by my spouse first and make sure. That is an objection, excuse, and that may be true. Maybe they do need to talk to their spouse, but most people use that as an objection because of something else. It's a reason. Because I guarantee you, unless the spouse has not even talked to their other, if the wife hasn't talked to the husband yet, or their partner yet, and the partner has no idea that they're getting an estimate, I guarantee you they've already had conversations around their price points, how much money they want to spend, what they want to have done. They've already had those conversations. They just have one person designated as the information gatherer, right? So when someone's on the call and says, well, I need to talk to my spouse, they're probably lying to you most of the time. Now, again, sometimes they do need to genuinely talk to the spouse, but most of the time that is an excuse for another reason. And there's only two reasons that people have an objection. Okay. Either one, and write this down, guys. One, they don't feel confident that you're going to deliver, again, that certainty of achievement. In other words, they're not confident that you're the one that's going to deliver the outcome they want. Or 2, you haven't fully answered, or you haven't answered confidently in a concern that they have. Right? That's really, other than price, like, price can be an objection, but separate of price, that's the only 2 reasons there's an objection. They're not comfortable you're the one that's going to deliver the outcome, or 2, you haven't done a good job of answering a question or a concern that they have confidently enough. If you ask them, when are you wanting to have this done? And they go, well, we'd like to have it done by the end of the year. Like, we're not in a hurry, but we want to have it done by the end of the year. And you say something like, our schedule's pretty full, but I think we'd be able to get it done by the end of the year. It'd be tight, but I think we can make it happen for you. Does that sound confident in that, yes, we can get it done by the end of the year? Now, you may be padding your schedule because you're one of those guys that don't want to overcommit, and you may know with a 95% certainty that you can get it done by the end of the year. but you just want to pad the schedule a little bit because those unknowns that come in, and you answer a question like that. Well, I think we can get it done by the end of the year. That's not a confident answer. You've not projected any confidence in your ability to get that project done. And if they're like, yeah, I mean, I like what you're saying. Everything sounds great, Brad. I just got to run it by my spouse real quick, and then I can get back with you tomorrow if that's okay. You're like, oh yeah, yeah, sure, that's fine. And then they get off the phone with you, and they call their spouse and like, he was really nice. I mean, I liked what he had to say. They do good work, but he I just he couldn't guarantee they can get it done by the end of the year. The way he said that, I'm not sure they're going to get it done by the end of the year. I think he might be overworked, overbooked, and he's trying to squeeze us in. So I'm not sure this is going to be the right one. Like that might be what's happening, all because you didn't confidently answer a question. And so that's why when you're in sales, we don't use words like probably or usually or maybe or sometimes. Someone says, trying to think of an example of someone's like, hey, have you ever had any issues with um, this product failing? And you're like, well, normally, no. Normally, we don't have any problems with it. Well, that's not a very confident answer. Like normally, like what does that mean normally? Like normally as in never or 1 out of 10 times? Like what's that mean? So when you use words like sometimes and probably and usually, we actually charge a consultation to come out to your house. Can someone come out and give me an estimate? Yeah, I'd love to give you an estimate. Can I ask you a few questions first? Just to make sure that I can even help you, because I really don't want to waste your time. If I come out there and spend an hour of your time and then I can't even help you, that wouldn't be very good use of your time. No, I just trying to get an estimate, a free estimate. Okay, well, I mean, I can come out there for sure and give you an estimate. We do charge for that estimate. It's $250. Or if I say, well, I mean, we usually charge to come out and do estimates. Like just throwing usually in front of that now means yeah, I do, but if you give enough pushback, I'll probably not charge you. I'll probably knock it off or give it a discount. So when you say words like usually and probably and sometimes and most of the time, those are not confident building words. Hey, we usually charge to come out and do a free estimate. Usually, can't you just make an exception this one time? We'll hire you. I just want to make sure that it's going to be the right one. Well, yeah, I guess we can. And you just put yourself in a corner because you said the word usually versus, yeah, I can come out there and give you an estimate. I'll be honest with you, it's going to be $250 to come out there and do that. And I don't want to waste your time or waste your money if that's not something you're serious about. $250, like you can't make an exception this one time. I really wish I could. If I was able to make an exception for you, I'd have to make an exception for everyone else. But I'm more than happy to come out there and do that for you. So that's some things. By the way, I made a mistake. You don't want to say this is something. You don't want to say I'll be honest with you. This is a bad habit that I have that I've tried to eradicate. But even on talking to you, I said it. When you say I'll be honest with you, that implies that you weren't honest before. So you really should never say I'll be honest with you. Now you can say stuff like, "Hey Chris, can we just talk off the record for a second? Can we? I need to share something with you." And like, yeah, what's going on? You said something earlier that really just kind of didn't sit well with me. You mentioned earlier that you you were gonna hire someone if for the right price. And I just want to know is price the number one thing that's gonna be the determining factor in who you hire? That's kind of the same as saying, I'll be honest with you, I don't know, I have concerns about this or whatever. Just say, can we talk off the record? Can we take a time out for a second? So just try not to say, can I be honest with you, or I'll be honest with you. I just made that mistake a while ago. Let me get to some of these questions because we only got 10 minutes left. Let's see. Yuri says, I'm licensed, of course, nervous about it, never taken a job that big. Let me tell you something about commercial work. Commercial work is a different animal, and most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, price is the most important factor. So you got to be careful when you're doing larger commercial jobs for the first time, because you can get yourself in a pickle, especially if it's a large, like if an apartment complex is saying, hey, we want to install 100 carports, can you give us a discount for volume? You normally would charge $2,500 a carport, but since there's 100 of them and you're thinking, well, I'm going to be there, I can streamline this process. I only got to move, 50 yards down each time. It's going to cut out a bunch of time. So yeah, I could probably shave off $500 per. Yeah, I can do it for 2,000 each. And they're like, okay, cool. And then you get in there and start doing it, and it takes longer than what you think. And now you really should have charged $3,000, not 2,500. And I'm just making stuff up here. Now you have 100 carports where you're going to, potentially lose $500 worth of profit because you undervalued that. So and it could be multiple things. Like you sell the job and they go, okay, here's the job. By the way, because of the people that we have coming in and out, you can only do the work, on Thursdays and Fridays. Maybe they didn't tell you that before. You can only install them on Thursdays and Fridays. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you can't. We're not allowed. We can't do the installs. Well, that just totally screwed your entire process up. So I'm just saying you got to be careful when you're trying to elevate into a much bigger job on commercial, because you can get in trouble if you're not careful. So what do you recommend telling a customer calls you back and says they found someone else? Questions you on the price you agreed to. They found someone way cheaper. So I don't know what Dr. Phil comment. I'm not sure what that references. Questions you on the price you agreed to. I'm not sure what you mean, Yuri. Like you told them you were going to do a job for 5,000, and they said, okay, that sounds good. And then like 2 days later, they call you back and say they found someone cheaper. Is that what you mean? Like they assigned the contract, but then they haven't paid any money yet or anything, and then they said they found someone cheaper. Is that how you mean that? Well, first of all, if you're signing a contract, you're collecting money. So no money collected, no signed contract. That's the end of that. If you're selling sheds and you should be collecting some type of deposit. I don't care if it's $10. I mean, it should be more, but I mean, you're collecting some kind of money. But you want the money, you want the amount of money to hurt a little bit if they don't follow through. So if you're building sheds and let's say you're doing like a $5,000 shed, you should be collecting like $1,000 deposit. Right? So that's what I'm saying is like they can't call you back and say I found someone cheaper. If they do, that's great. No worries. I'm still keeping your $1,000 as a non-refundable deposit. And I'm telling them that ahead of time. Hey, before we and 10%'s okay. However, that's probably too low because I wasn't going to get into this, but I will real quick. When you collect deposits, it should be enough to cover whatever amount of money you're going to be out until you collect the next payment. Okay. So maybe you collect a 10% deposit just to get them on the schedule. And then when you're going to start the job, you collect an additional percentage. That's okay. However, yeah, okay, okay. So California's 10%. However, you can collect an additional amount the first day you show up, Yuri. So I know in California it's 10%. If you're building the shed, on site, then it's 10% deposit. The day you show up, you're collecting 30%. I know you can do that. So that's how you get around that, right? So the 10% deposit is just to get them on the schedule, really is what that's for. And then once you're ready to start the job, you're collecting the progress payments, but you're collecting the day you show up, like a large portion, the largest amount that you can collect. This idea that you collect 10% down and then another 90% when you're done, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. And even like your last payment should never be more than 10%. So if it's 10% down and it's only going to be a week-long project, it's 10% before you start. It's, 40% the day you show up, right? So you're at 50%. And then if it's a week-long project, you might be collecting another 25% halfway through, or so on and so on. But you want to get the last payment down as low as possible. 10% is ideal because that is pure profit, or at least it should be pure profit. And if for whatever reason they don't want to pay you, they can't hold that over your head to come back and be like a barking dog and tell you to do everything to get stuff done for free or hold it over your head. So your last payment should be no more than 10% pure profit. I understand it's different if like you're delivering a shed, right? Like they're buying a shed, you're delivering it, and it's only a 1-day project. That's slightly different. I understand that. But if there's any amount of time frame in there, try to collect as much money as you can throughout the project so that the last 10%, the last invoice is 10%. Especially if it's a large project. Those of you that are doing 100,000 plus projects, you have to have milestone payments, and your last payment should never, ever, ever be more than 10%. It's pure profit. You've already paid all your subs, you've already paid all your vendors, you paid all your employees, all your overhead. In the mud drywall, yeah, man. So do this in the mud. Go find my podcast. It's the Hammer and Grind podcast. It's on all iTunes, Spotify, all those. Okay. And so the last podcast that dropped this past Monday is the 4 C's of cash flow. And I explain how you need to have this set up. Go listen to that podcast, the 4 C's of cash flow. It will kind of lay out how you need to set up your business so that you don't have this problem going forward. Yeah. So, breach of contract, was that your fault or theirs? Like, what was the breach? Did you leave because they breached the contract, or did they breach the contract because you didn't do what they said? It was all because they didn't want to pay. Yeah. So that's why I said if it's 10%, if it's only 10%, then it sucks, but you're not out money. You're not out money. So yeah, I was just reading I was reading a comment on Facebook. He said, I was selling a product to a customer, and he said, honestly, this is my favorite one. And the customer replies back, so you weren't being honest with me earlier? So yeah, that's what I mean. Like when you say this is my favorite one, it's like, oh, you haven't been honest. So don't use that. Have I ever dealt with lawsuits? Me personally, no. I'm asking because I have a guy who refused to pay anymore, and now he wants to sue me. So Matt, I just learned this like a month or so ago, and I honestly don't remember the exact way that this. It's an attorney on TikTok, and he was given advice on how to deal with this. So a lot of people will go to small claims court and they will or they'll put a lien on the property, right? Like put a lien on the property. That's the main thing. But liens don't get you your money. Even if you go to court and win, the lien is only going to get you your money whenever they sell the house. And that could be 20 years from now. So liens are okay as a scare tactic, but it doesn't mean you're going to actually get the money even if you win. What this attorney suggested, and I don't know exactly what he said, and I can't remember and I can't find the information, but it was basically to the point of filing a theft charge. You file a theft charge against the homeowner because you've put materials in their house, or maybe they're holding your tools ransom, whatever. You file a theft charge against them, and they will, if you go to court for that and they don't show up, that person doesn't show up because they think you're full of crap, they will be issued a bench warrant for their arrest. So now they have a bench warrant, and that will tend to get people off the pot and start making decisions whenever they have a warrant show up for their arrest. So I don't remember exactly how he said to do that. And it may be state specific. I don't remember. but he was basically saying like liens are kind of worthless. If you want to get paid, do this instead. And he's like 90% of the time they're going to be calling you up and be like, okay, how do I make this go away? How can I make this go away? Because who wants to have a warrant for their arrest? So because he said most of the time they won't even show up in court because they think it's bullcrap. Or if they do show up in court, then the judge will be like, why are you stealing his stuff? You owe him money. Um, he claims he was taking it to court because the work wasn't being done. I still had 2 weeks to go, so he killed the contract. Yeah, that's people that know how to play the system. You got screwed by somebody who knows how to take advantage of people. And I don't know anything about you, Matt Trunkle. I have no idea, but a lot of times, um, and I don't want to like I'm not trying to be mean here. I hope you understand that. But a lot of times, if you're a people pleaser type of person, meaning you want to do a good job for people, people that take advantage of people can smell that and they'll use that to their advantage. They'll be super nice to you the whole time and they'll know at the very end that they're going to screw you and they have no problems doing that. And that's because they may smell that you're a nice person and you're a people pleaser and that you're probably not going to like go after them you're going to like they're just going to bully you basically. They'll bully you into not doing it. Yeah. And it happens, man. It happens. Um I've never been sued yet. Uh, that's probably partially because I'm 6'5". I weigh about 220 pounds. So like physically, I'm a pretty big, intimidating person. Prior Marine, like I'm not saying that I'm a badass. I'm not saying that at all. But physically, I'm bigger than most people. So generally, like I'm not the type of person that someone's like, oh, that guy looks like a weakling. I'm gonna take advantage of him. So, but I'm not. I'm very integrity is important. I don't rip people off. I always do high quality work and high value service. So that's usually not a problem. Um, but it can be if someone's super nice, and that may be Matt. That might be a sign of having an employee mindset, which is something that also plagues a lot of contractors. And an employee mindset simply means when you're an employee, your job is to like make your boss happy, right? Like that's you want to keep your job. So you want to do good work so that your boss is happy and you get raises and all that stuff. But whenever you start a contracting business, a lot of people still have an employee mindset of I work for the customer. Like it's my job to make the customer happy, to provide high quality product and make, when they're done, they say, "Oh, Johnny, you did such a great job with your, the work. We're so happy." Like you believe it's your job to make them happy and you're beneath them. Here's the customer and here's you and you work for them. And you should be honored and like feel grateful that they're giving you work. And so you have to make sure they're happy. That can't be further from the truth. That's an employee mindset. If you believe it's your job to make your customer happy, some people you can't ever make happy ever. You could be the best freaking tradesman on the earth and you're not going to make them happy. Your job is to provide a product or service, and their job is to pay you for that. It's an equal exchange. You're not better than them. They're not better than you. It's here's $5,000. You deliver $5,000 in product. Everyone's happy, right? That is a mindset. That's not a skill set. It's a mindset shift of we're on equal terms. If I'm having a conversation with someone and they're using language or their demeanor is, well, I mean, I'm paying you, you should get this done, and I haven't started the job yet, like I haven't collected money, I'm like, see you, buddy. Go find somebody else. You're not going to talk to me like that. So you have to have respect for yourself first before other people will respect you. So we're a little over, but I want to make sure I answer these questions here. There's a dollar amount they know the contractors go after legally. Yeah, some people will. I'm trying to find out, Yuri, what your question was about. In the mud, it says it kept telling me to move to different. I had to move to different portions of the jobs and using my employees while I wasn't on the job site. In the mud, man. It sounds like you're too nice as well, dude. It sounds like you're being taken advantage of by the customer and by your employees, because my employees would never even think about trying to go work behind me to work for the customer. I even had a subcontractor that would do small jobs for me. He was a full-time firefighter, but he had a contractor's license and he did work on his days off for me, smaller jobs. And he'd tell me all the time, I'd give him a polo shirt, embroidered shirt. So he was like showing up like he was working for me, but he was a subcontractor. He had his own tools and truck and all that. And people would ask him all the time, "Hey, can I give you cash to come and do some side work for me?" And he would always tell them, "No, I can't do that. I'd be shooting myself in the foot. Brad takes care of me. Why would I want to do stuff on the side?" And then he would tell me like, "Hey, this customer was trying to get me to come do work on the side." So that's the kind of relationships you want to have with your employees and subcontractors. You kind of have to put your foot down. There's a thin line there. I get it, because right now we're all hurting for help. There's a shortage and we need people, and we don't want to scare them away. But you also can't be a pushover. You can't have people taking advantage of you. So I don't know all the situation, obviously, but it sounds like um, the drywall. Who was that in the mud? It sounds like you might need to tighten the ship up a little bit on your staff and your customers. Again, this is a one for one exchange, guys. You don't work for them. I'm not saying be a dick to them. Be respectful, and treat their property respectfully. But you don't work for them. Like, you're not their employee. So, and people, I'm telling you right now, people can smell that. If they think they can bully you around and browbeat you on price, they will try. And you can't be mad at customers for trying to do something. Now, I'm not saying you can't get upset because they're bad people, but when someone says, "Hey, you were $10,000 more than the other contractor. Is there any way you can come down on the price?" You cannot get upset about that question. It's a legitimate question. Why? Who wouldn't ask for a discount? I do that when I go buy stuff. "Hey, man, is this the best price you can do?" It don't mean I'm not going to pay their price. It's just a simple question. And if the guy's like, "Well, I can knock 5 grand off," I'd be stupid not to take advantage of that, right? So you can't be mad at your customers when they say, can you match this other guy's price? Or I found someone else who's cheaper, or can you discount your price at all? You cannot get mad about that. Customers don't go to customer school. They don't wake up and say, "Oh, I'm going to go get a 2-year certificate program in how to be a good customer." Nobody does that. It's your job to educate your customers on how to do business with you, not the other contractors. They may have done business with 5 other contractors, and all the other 5 contractors gave a discount whenever they asked. But they come to you and they say, "Hey, can you give me a discount?" And you're like, "Oh, how offensive of you to ask me for a discount." That's your fault. Like, you're just being emotional about it. You just say, "Man, I wish I could. If I could give you a discount, I would." But wouldn't that mean I was overcharging you to begin with? If I was able to give you a discount, wouldn't that mean I was overcharging you? That's a simple way to overcome price discounts. Or just simply say, "No, no, I wish I could. I wish I could, but I can't." Another way you can do it is, I did a video this morning, a TikTok this morning. I don't have my calculator here. Let's pretend this is a calculator. It's not. And the guy, and maybe you're standing in front of them at their house, and they're paying you for a consultation, right? They paid you $250, $500, whatever. They're paying you for a consultation. You're out there. You told them you could probably do this job. Not probably. You told them it's going to be somewhere between $30,000 and $20,000. You're out there. They're like, "That's cool. Come on out." And you're out there, and they start dreaming, and they go, "Well, what if we add this? And what if we add that?" And you're like, "Man, that's going to add a lot more money." I told you 30 to 20. Now we're at 35,000. Like, just to do what you want, we're now at 35,000, and you're like, they're adding all this stuff, and they're like, "Okay, what's that going to set us back?" And maybe your numbers or not, whatever. And you're like, "Well, you're looking at like 30,000 now." And like, "Oh man, you told us on the phone 30 to 20,000." we really wanted to be closer to 20. And you're like, I know, but you added all this extra stuff that we didn't talk about. So we're pushing 35, maybe 30 if we cut out a couple things. Is that I mean, God, we really like you, Brad. Is that the best you can do? I mean, we did talk to another contractor, and everything that we just told you, he said he could do for 25,000. I mean, is there any way you can come down a little bit on that price? Well, John, let me check again. Let me see. And you get your calculator on your phone out and you start punching in numbers. Okay, yeah, we do that and do that. Yeah, man, I can't. It says right here, 32,000 on the calculator. I wish I could come down, but it says right here 32,000. There's no way I can do any less than 32,000. That's called going third party. I'm blaming the calculator. The calculator is telling me I can't go any cheaper. That's going third party, right? That's how you do that. Who's going to argue with you like, "Oh man, like, yeah, I don't okay. Yeah. Now they have to decide. Do they like you? Are they going to go for the cheaper price?" Right? So there's lots of ways around, like other ways. You can go third party with anything else. If I'm on the phone and I say, you're looking at for this project, you're looking at between $15,000 and $10,000. Wow, that's more than what we were hoping it was going to be. Well, how much were you hoping it was going to be? Well, we were hoping like it was going to be like $8,000. Is there any way you can come off that price any? I wish I could do that. And you know what? Honestly, in the past, I probably would discount it. I probably would because I would want to get the job. But here's the thing, Cindy. If I did that, if I discounted my prices, as soon as I get done with that job, I'm going to get a call from my accountant and he is going to ream my butt out because he told me if I ever discounted a job again, I'm probably going to go out of business. And I don't know if you've met my accountant, but he's a pretty big dude. He's very intimidating, and I don't want to get chewed out by my accountant. Like that's a third party, right? That's going third. I'm blaming my accountant. Now you can have fun with it. You can have fun with it too. Like, man, Sam, I wish I could, but if I did that, I'd probably get a call from my accountant. Matter of fact, he's probably waiting around the corner right now. He might even be listening in on me to see because he told me if I ever discounted my rates, he's going to drop me as a client because I'm going to go out of business, and he doesn't want that reputation. So I don't. I mean, I don't. I'd love to be able to help you out, but I don't want my account. I don't want to lose my accountant. He's pretty good. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you a discount. Like that's me having fun with it. And they could be laughing like, "Oh, that's funny." They know I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit, but I'm also not like going to give you a discount. So you interject your style, whether you like humor, whether you want to be stoic and be like, "No, this is what I can do." I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, but I mean, you use your style and you interject that into your business and it works. You can blame it on your spouse. I'd love to give you a discount, but my wife would kick my butt because she's wanting to go on vacation and we've been saving up for a while. And if I discount this job, then we're not going to be able to go on that vacation. Whatever. I mean, you can make up whatever it is. I'm not saying lie, but you can use that. You can use whatever you want as a reason. And here's the thing: whenever you're doing your calculator, if you're doing that, you don't have to like actually add up the numbers, by the way. If you know it's going to be $32,000 because you ran the numbers ahead of time, or you have a price sheet and each thing costs this much and it's what it's going to be, you don't have to actually go in and add up everything. You can pretend like you're punching the numbers. You can add up whatever random numbers you want as long as the final number equals that total. If it's 32,000, that's all that matters. And that's not being deceitful. That's if because your prices that you need to be at 32,000. So that's just a way of going third party. So we're a little over. I wanted to answer those things for you. Appreciate you all tuning in. Before you leave, do me a favor, double tap the screen. Just give me a like. It just helps the algorithm. It helps TikTok say, hey, this guy's doing some good content. And it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside too. It makes me want to do more lives. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for the likes. I really do appreciate it. I think I got most of the questions answered. If I missed you, I apologize. Yuri, if you're still on here, if someone's complaining about price, you have to provide more value. I'll leave you guys with this when it comes to price. If your price is here, if this is your price point, and the value that the customer believes they're getting is here, then in their mind, they're overpaying for the value. They're overpaying for what they're getting, right? If you tell someone it's $10,000 and in their mind they believe they're getting $7,000 worth of value and it's completely subjective, then they're going to believe that they're overpaying for what you're selling. But if your price is $10,000 and you provide so much value that they believe they're getting $13,000 worth of value for the exact same price, in other words, here's your price, here's the value before versus here's the value now, the price hasn't changed any. Now they feel like they're getting a deal because they feel like they're getting $13,000 worth of value for $10,000. And the way you provide value is not by doing more things. It's not by doing better quality work. It's by all the little things before the actual sale takes place. That includes having a professional website. That includes having professional pictures of your projects on your website. That includes having reviews, a bunch of reviews on Google. If you have 150 reviews, 5-star reviews on Google, and your nearest competitor has 20, you're providing value right there before they ever even call you. It's the sales process where you're not wasting their time and you actually connect with them on an emotional level. That's providing value. It's your vehicle wraps, it's your uniforms, it's the way you talk and communicate. All of those things provide value. If you have blogs on your website that give informational, helpful information about your projects, all of those things add up to value. It doesn't have to be, well, I'm going to do more things for you in order to get the more money. It's just basically at the end of the day, it's being a professional, what I call being a professional in every avenue of your business. If you guys really want to dominate in construction, it's not hard. It's not hard to be average. It's not even hard to be above average. But if you want to be the best, you're going to have to work at it and you got to provide that value. And when you do all those pre-value, pre-selling value added activities, it actually makes the selling 10 times easier. I watched a video today from Gary Vaynerchuk, and he says, if you're really, really, really good at marketing, you don't have to be that great at sales because the marketing will do the selling for you. And that's true. So whenever you, again, if you search for contractor my area and Google pops up and says, here's 10 contractors that do that service. Number one's your business, 150 reviews, 5-star rating. Number two, your competitor, 20 reviews, 4.7 rating. Number three, competitor, 1 review. Who do you think they're going to call first? They're going to call you first every time. They're going to click on your reviews. They're going to go to your website. But if you have a bunch of reviews and they go to your website and it looks like dog shit, like your 7-year-old niece did it for you, that's going to hurt you a little bit because it doesn't line up. You got a bunch of reviews, but your website looks like crap. It's going to hurt you a little bit. But if you have a bunch of reviews, they go to your website and your website's freaking outstanding, that just elevates you even more. Like, man, this company's got their shit together. They got a crap ton of reviews. Their website's a fire. They got blogs on there that explain every question I've ever had about bathroom remodeling. I called them and their sales process is on point, like super confident. I saw their truck in my neighborhood the other day. That's why I called them and it was wrapped and it looked super nice. Like, this is the company I want to hire. I hope I can afford them. I really hope I can afford them. That's the type of image you want. You don't want to have, oh, I need to find the cheapest guy that can do this work for me. Right? All right, guys, I appreciate you jumping in. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will be live again next week on Monday only. Friday, I'm going to be out. And then the following Monday and maybe Friday, I'm going to be out. I'm having surgery on my nose. I thought it was this coming week. I was a whole week off. I'll be out the following week having deviated septum surgery. I don't know if you can see my nose is crooked, but I can't breathe worth a crap. So hopefully that'll help me out. And I'll be back after that, and I'll be able to provide more value for you guys. One last thing I want to throw out here, if you're still watching, the Profit Club, which is my paid coaching group where we teach contractors how to add 10 to 20% profit and save 15, 20 hours a week of their time. I'm running a special today. It ends today at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. You guys only have about 4 hours left. If someone joins today, I'm giving an additional 1 month's worth of one-on-one coaching. So my coaching group is a group coaching where we have weekly sales calls, weekly coaching calls, weekly topic calls, all kinds of training and everything in there. But this is an addition. I'm giving an additional $2,000 worth of one-on-one coaching where we dive into your business and we look at every aspect of it. And each week we work on things. That's for free for the first 3 people. I got 3 spots available for this month, and we're about almost to the end of the month. So I'm giving the first 3 people, the next 3 people that sign up, I'm giving the free month's worth of one-on-one coaching on top of the actual program. And the first 3 people that sign up get that. So if you're interested in coaching, if you're interested in my help, you can reach out to me. You can go to my bio and swipe. There's opportunities in there. You can send me a direct message, or you can go to hammerandgrind.com. Ron, the program, I don't like to give the price. I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you what it is. I don't like to give the price because I want to make sure I can help you first. Because even if you have the money, I may not be able to help you in your business, or to be honest with you, even though you're not supposed to say be honest. See, I just screwed up again. I just ruined my own. Here I am ruining my own thing. I want to make sure that you're going to be a good fit for the group, right? Yeah. So you got me, Travis. Gosh, damn it. I wasn't honest. This whole hour and a half, I wasn't honest. No, listen, here's the deal. I want to make sure that you're going to be a good fit for the group. Travis, who's Butters, that's Travis Butters, who's on here commenting. He is in my group. He can attest to the fact that I only let people in that are going to be a good addition to the group. So I don't just let anyone in. If you come and wave a bunch of money in my face, say, hey, I'll pay you double, and I don't like you, I'm not going to let you in. So I typically don't. I want to interview you first. That's the truth. But the price it's $5,000 investment. It's a one-time $5,000 investment. It gives you lifetime access to all of the training videos. It gives you lifetime access to the private Facebook group, which is where we have all of our interactions. It gives you 12-month access to our coaching calls. We have 3 coaching calls a week, and it gives you 12 months of access to the calls. So it's a one-time investment of $5,000. I do have a $50,000 ROI guarantee. So if you're on the fence about, well, that's a lot of money, am I going to get my money's worth? Yeah, I know it's too cheap, Travis. But I guarantee you'll make $50,000 additional profit in 12 months, or I'll give you your $5,000 back. That's my guarantee. Travis will tell you, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but he did well over $50,000 in additional profit, and he's only been in about 7 months, 6-7 months in the program. So that's the offer today, 5 p.m. It ends the free 1 month of additional one-on-one coaching. And just to give you an idea on the one-on-one coaching, it's really more deep dive. I've had 2 private clients, one-on-one clients in the past couple months. One of them, Ryan, we had our very first one-on-one call. The next week, he sold an additional $19,000 worth of profit, and he saved 8 hours of his time. Another client, Michael, was just last week. We had our first call with him, and the next week he sold an additional $30,000 of profit on one job. That was after a 1 hour phone call. So there's a lot of value here, guys. Yeah, Travis says he made 12 grand in 1 month, and he's made 300,000 additional year to date. If that's not a testimonial, I don't know what is. A $5,000 investment netted him or grossed him $300,000 in additional profit. So, Travis, I need to charge you more money, dude. I need to come back to you for some more payments and kick you out of the group and make you pay more. I need to hold you over the barrel and so you shouldn't have said that, to be honest with you, because now I'm going to make you pay more money to stay in. No, I'm just kidding. Travis was on. He's going to be on my podcast here in a few weeks, guys. If you listen to my podcast, Travis, who is Butters, on the call right now, he's on the podcast. I interviewed him yesterday. He'll be on in a couple of weeks, so you'll get to hear his story a little bit. But that's it. I got to get off here. I appreciate you all. If you want in on the deal, 3 people, and it's already went out to over several thousand people in all my groups. So I may have already had people contact me. So, all right. Appreciate y'all. Have a great day. We'll see you again soon. Have a great weekend.